$3.7 billion for a legacy glass maker. Apollo is literally buying windows.
It's a brilliant value play. Nippon Sheet Glass gives them a massive industrial footprint.
A brilliant play that takes until March 2027 to close? Oh, come on. That's an eternity in private equity.
Antitrust takes time, but speaking of waiting, I'm hearing Gilead is about to drop $2 billion on Euro medicines.
If the ink ever actually dries. Let's look at a mega merger with actual paperwork. The rundown.
Warren Buffett is just taking a victory lap in Tokyo at this point.
$1.8 billion into Tokyo Marine, and the press release specifically calls out collaborating on global M&A. This is not just Warren clipping dividends, he is setting up a proxy buyer.
Exactly. He's building a Japanese war chest with a local partner. Brilliant hedge. But if we are talking domestic dominance, we have to talk about the uniform wars. Cintas buying UniFirst for $5.5 billion.
I am already falling asleep.
Oh, come on, it's a massive deal. The synergies in route density alone are going to print money. You have to respect the sheer scale of the industrial laundry business.
I respect the margins, but you are completely ignoring the regulatory risk. I pulled their overlapping service maps this morning, and the FTC is absolutely going to ask questions. You cannot just buy your biggest rival and expect Lena Khan to wave it through because it is just shirts and towels.
I think you are overestimating the FTC's interest in who washes mechanics' overalls. They will divest 3 facilities in Ohio and close the deal by Thanksgiving.
I will take that bet. I am setting a calendar alert right now.
Deal. Speaking of alerts, my phone blew up last night with Gilead gossip.
The Uro Medicines whisper.
$2 billion to swallow Uro and grab their autoimmune T-cell pipeline. Insiders are saying the ink is practically dry.
I buy the rumor. Big Pharma is terrified of the patent cliff. We literally just saw France's Servier drop $2.5 billion in pure cash for day one biopharmaceuticals. The premium for late-stage clinical assets is only going up.
It is an absolute feeding frenzy. If you have a decent clinical trial going, bankers are knocking down your door.
Which is exactly why Olympus Partners is cashing out early. They are spinning off EyeSouth's retina business to Cencora for $1.1 billion.
Classic private equity playbook. Carve out the high-margin specialty piece, sell it to a strategic buyer, and leave the rest.
It works. But if you want to see a truly massive private equity swing, we need to talk about what Apollo is doing in the industrial materials space.
$3.7 billion for Nippon Sheet Glass. And the timeline on this structure is absolutely wild. The big one. I just love a boring deal. And $5.5 billion for uniform rentals is as beautifully boring as it gets.
You say boring. I say heavily concentrated. Cintas buying. UniFirst is a massive flex. They're basically cornering the market on embroidered work shirts and industrial floor mats.
Exactly. Cash flow you can set your watch to. The synergies here are just chef's kiss. You consolidate the delivery routes, you strip out the overlapping warehouses, and suddenly your margins are looking incredible. It's a classic roll-up playbook.
Sure, the banker math works perfectly on a spreadsheet, but $5.5 billion. Cintas is paying a premium that assumes absolutely zero regulatory pushback. Have you looked at the combined market share in some of these regional metros? The FTC is going to want a word.
You always assume antitrust regulators are hiding under the bed.
They usually are. And if they aren't looking at uniforms, they're definitely going to be looking at glass.
Ah yes, Apollo and Nippon Sheet Glass, $3.7 billion.
Private equity buying, legacy manufacturing, it's a tale as old as time.
It's the Apollo special. Find a heavy industrial asset, buy it, optimize the capital structure, and squeeze out the cash. I actually think this is a brilliant play. Glass is heavy. It's incredibly expensive to ship across oceans. Local market dominance matters immensely, and Nippon has it.
I don't hate the underlying asset. Nippon is solid. But Nate, did you read the target closing date on the press release?
I saw it. March 2027.
March 2027. They're giving themselves 3 full years to close a $3.7 billion deal. What are they doing? Waiting for the sand to literally melt?
Okay, yes, that's a very long tail. Even for a complex cross-border transaction,
It's insane. 3 years in private equity is a lifetime. The yield curve could do anything. The macro environment could flip 3 times over. To lock up a deal with a target date of 2027 means there's some horrific structural untangling happening behind the scenes.
Or they just structured a heavily tranched buyout and need the runway to clear global foreign investment hurdles. Japan is getting trickier with these massive take privates.
I read the footnotes. There are carve-outs on top of carve-outs. Apollo is basically buying a corporate jigsaw puzzle and asking for 3 years just to find the border pieces.
Fair. But if anyone can financially engineer their way out of a complex corporate carve-out, it's Apollo. I wouldn't bet against their modeling.
I'll happily take that bet. 3 years is enough time for at least 2 black swan events to blow up their models entirely.
We'll revisit this in 2 years when they're still filing regulatory paperwork. But speaking of Japan, Apollo isn't the only giant making massive moves in Tokyo right now.
Warren Buffett has entered the chat.
1.8 billion reasons why Berkshire Hathaway is suddenly very interested in Japanese insurance. We need to talk about Tokyo Marine right after this. Voices. I'm reading this analyst note on Berkshire's $1.8 billion stake in Tokyo Marine, and they're calling it the stage for, quote, aggressive joint M&A endeavors.
Aggressive? Have they met Warren Buffett? The man buys railroads and insurance companies and sits on them for 4 decades.
Hey, a $1.8 billion footprint expansion isn't exactly passive. He wants a local partner to hunt with.
Sure, but aggressive joint M&A sounds like an analyst trying to spice up a completely sensible, boring value play. I'll believe aggressive when I see Berkshire do a hostile takeover of a software company.
Fair. But speaking of spicing up the boring stuff, did you see the commentary on Veolia?
The Australian soil remediation deal.
Right, 220 million Australian dollars for dirt cleanup. And industry watchers are calling it a strategic doubling down on global PFAS treatment leadership. I love how we can make cleaning up toxic mud sound like a tech monopoly.
Don't knock the dirt cleanup, Nate. PFAS is the forever chemical. Regulatory crackdowns on it are happening everywhere. Veolia buying up local remediation players is a massive compliance moat. It's actually a brilliant structural play.
Okay, fine, you win the dirt argument. But if you want a real moat, listen to the whispers on Gilead.
The Uro Medicines rumor.
$2 billion. That's the number floating around the street right now. Big Pharma is practically tripping over itself for next-gen autoimmune T-cell therapies.
I saw the gossip. But you know me, I don't buy the narrative until I can read the footnotes. Right now, it's just people talking their own book.
Well, we might not have to wait long to see if the rumors are real. There are a couple of things hitting the tape tomorrow that could prove you wrong, plus a massive regulatory shift in the Philippines. Spill the tea. So the whispers out of Foster City are getting very loud.
You mean the Gilead rumor?
I mean the Gilead rumor? Word on the street is they are circling Uro Medicines for $2 billion.
$2 billion for an autoimmune T-cell pipeline. Are we sure this is not just Uro's bankers leaking a number to test the waters?
Oh, come on, Maya. Big Pharma is practically tripping over themselves to buy next-gen therapies right now. $2 billion is walking around money for Gilead.
Walking around money? Nate, I need to see an actual SEC filing before I buy this narrative. You former bankers just love a strategic leak to drum up a bidding war.
Hey, I resent that. It is completely true, but I still resent it.
See? I knew it.
But look at the wider board. It is not just pharma getting aggressive. Did you see the Berkshire Hathaway note?
The Tokyo Marine stake, $1.8 billion.
Exactly, but the analyst note I saw completely changes the context. They are not just buying a passive stake. They are setting up a partnership for aggressive joint M&A endeavors globally.
Wait, really? Warren Buffett doing aggressive joint M&A? The man who famously sits on his hands for a decade waiting for a fat pitch?
Right? He is partnering up with a Japanese insurer to go hunting. The apocalypse is upon us.
That actually is surprising. I want to dig into that structure tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, keep an eye on Manila.
The Philippine Competition Commission.
Yes, they just hiked their M&A notification thresholds. A whole wave of mid-market deals is about to bypass immediate antitrust scrutiny.
Oh, the floodgates are opening.
Exactly. We are going to have a lot of tape to watch.
Speaking of tape, we still have to unpack Apollo throwing $3.7 billion at a legacy glass manufacturer. Tomorrow's radar. I'm telling you, keep hitting refresh on the SEC site tomorrow morning. The whispers are getting deafening on Gilead snapping up Uro medicines.
$2 billion for an autoimmune pipeline. I need to see the actual merger agreement before I believe that valuation.
It's a total land grab. Big Pharma is terrified of missing the next big T-cell therapy. $2 billion is just the cost of entry right now.
Cost of entry or cost of desperation? We'll see when the 8K drops. But honestly, my radar is pointed at the Philippines tomorrow.
Wait, really? The Philippines?
The Competition Commission just hiked the M&A notification thresholds. They're basically giving mid-market deals a free pass on antitrust scrutiny. It's going to be a total free-for-all.
Only you would get this fired up over a bureaucratic threshold adjustment in Manila.
Somebody has to read the fine print.
Fair enough. I'll be tracking Warren Buffett and Tokyo Marine gearing up for their joint M&A spree. We'll see whose radar pings first. Catch you next time.